Hey guys, I have some IVF tips. I have gone through 2 rounds of IVF and I am 31 weeks pregnant with our miracle baby from our second round of IVF. So I have done other videos, which I'll be sure to link below, all about IVF. So I have been editing a lot of the videos from my IVF journey, and it just made me realize that there are some tips that I wanted to share with you guys, and hopefully it helps you. So tip number 1 is obviously do your research. Go around and interview and tour and meet all the doctors from all your local infertility clinics, and just do your research and see if you can get any testimonials or see any testimonials that they have on their website. Go with your gut feeling on which one makes you comfortable. But the big tip is that you need to trust your doctors and your nurses. So once you decide, you make that decision, trust is going to be a big factor moving forward, and it's going to be easier on you if you're able to let the stress of if everything's going right go a little bit and put a lot of trust in your doctors. And it's also going to make for a better relationship with your doctor as well. And I'm not saying don't ask a lot of questions. Definitely, ask a lot of questions until you are clear on everything. But a lot of women I've seen, they just are so nervous and you're so emotional, and I totally get it, but they start doubting their doctor and that they're doing the right thing and they're doing the best thing. And so, ask a lot of questions, but in the end, you need to trust your doctor, and I think it will make for a less stressful process for you. I have kind of a metaphor. I'm a real estate agent, and there's been times in the past where I've had buyers or sellers lose confidence in me or trust for whatever reason, and buying a house is a huge decision, just like the IVF process and having a baby. It's emotional, and especially first-time home buyers, they get so overwhelmed. Sometimes they will lash out at their own realtor, and I have to have a talk with them like, look, I know what I'm doing, I have experience, like, you really just need to trust me. Ultimately it's your decision, but I'm just here to guide you and advise you. And that's how you need to look at your doctors, in my opinion. And it really does help you release kind of like the control and the stress involved in IVF. Tip number 2 is to keep it light and fun when you do go into the clinic, the fertility clinic. You are in there a lot. I mean, when they monitor you, it's every day, it's every other day. You just are in the fertility clinic a lot. The way it worked for mine is I would see the receptionist, and then you would go into the next room and they would draw your blood, and then you would go into the next room and they would do the ultrasound. They deal with emotional, stressed out women all the time. And there's no need to put that on them if you are feeling okay. So, I would just try to go in there with a positive attitude, ask about them. And also, I would always try to come up with a funny story that's going on in my life, just because I can't. I'm like one of those people, if it's silence is going on, it drives me absolutely bonkers. I have to fill the silence. I totally get that from my mom. So I think it's a good tip just to joke with them, relax, and you're going to see them a lot. I knew all of their names. They had no name tags. Most of them are just such nice people who want to do a good job for you, and they, know that you're going through a lot. Tip number 3 is to stay off the message boards and to only watch the positive YouTube videos. I feel like the worst thing that you can do in the IVF is to play the what if game. What if this doesn't work? What if I only get so many eggs? There are so many what ifs in that game that you can play going through the IVF process. So, hearing all the horror stories, and that's who's posting on message boards, are people who need help. And those are the stories you're going to hear. You're not going to hear a lot of the positive stories, and it's going to stress you out, and your mind's going to go there. So stay off the message boards. You don't need to be any more stressed out. Tip number 4 is what the husbands can do. I heard that Brazil nuts were good. There was nothing wrong with my husband's sperm count. His was normal, but I just wanted to increase as much as possible. So I heard Brazil nuts were really good for that. So I had put Brazil nuts on his side table for him to have in the morning, and he would eat 3, I think, of them. It's been a while. I think he would eat 3, and they don't taste very good. Sometimes I would eat them as well, and eat them with like a piece of dark chocolate to cover up. I don't know what the taste is, but they weren't very good. So he did that. I also bought him some sort of thing off Amazon, but I don't think he ever took them. It was like some sort of pill to increase your fertility that I read about, and I don't know if he took any of those. But he did do the Brazil nuts. And he did do them before every... When does the sperm meet the egg? Oh, the egg retrieval. Before every egg retrieval. The other thing with the husbands that I was surprised about is kind of like what a bonding experience it is, because, well, let's face it, you're a mess. And it just, for us, it brought us closer together. And the other thing it did was he always did what I call the butt shots, the intramuscular shots. I did estrogen and progesterone and oil shots in the butt or the hip. So he always did those. Some of those he couldn't do. He had to work a couple nights to do them myself, and it was awful. But going through that routine, especially when I became pregnant with the last transfer, I think it was like 12 weeks of doing these. No, it couldn't have been that long. 8 weeks maybe? Maybe it was 12. I can't remember. It was a lot of weeks. Yeah, and then when it was done, we kind of missed it because it was like, I don't know, it was like a bonding time, a routine we always did together. That's probably weird. And my husband was so amazing during this process, and the thing that he did that I think was, just being supportive of me, and it's kind of natural to him and his personality. He's a very calm, reassuring person, but he just, whenever I was sad, he let me cry. He let me, get the emotions out, and, was there for me. And then as soon as that was over, he immediately tried to help me steer back into being positive and looking on the bright side. And, we still have this chance. We still have this chance. There's still this going on. So for me, that was, it was like everything to have him there and to be that supportive and to be able to turn my emotions around and it's really your thoughts, from sad to positivity. Tip number 5 is to set up a separate area for your injections. This is our first one, so we don't have kids, so we used our hall bathroom, and I just cleaned it really well. And we have fluffy, furry white cats that drop a lot of hair and like to jump up on things. So that way we could keep that door shut so they didn't contaminate it. And I could go in there and do my shots and shut the door, and they knew the cats couldn't come in. And plus you can just leave everything out and organized. And then the second part of that too is when you first start doing shots, it's so overwhelming. You're just overwhelmed by everything, but one of the things you're overwhelmed with is actually how to do the shot and the mechanics of it. So my clinic recommended this website. It's called freedommedteach.com. So basically what you do is you go to that website and it walks you through everything. You click on what you want to inject, and they say, are you going to use a needle or a Q-cap? And then the video's right there. So what I would do is take my iPad up with me, and it has its own case that stands up. And I would just, especially in the beginning, after a while you could do it in your sleep. But in the very beginning, you don't know what you're doing, and it's not fun to try to read stuff, and you need 2 hands to do all the injection stuff. So to have that video was huge. So definitely check out those videos if you're about to start shots. Tip number 6 is to do something to take your mind off of the IVF process as much as possible. So whether that's a puzzle or a game or a video game or a new diet that you want to follow, or a charity, something like that, something that you could get involved in that helps get your mind off of things. I know with my husband, he loves video games, and it just melts the stress away. I did the vegan diet on my second round, and that just helped me concentrate on something else and have a goal that help to get my mind off of things, and then also like exercise helps me as well. So having something to help get your mind off of it really will help with your stress, because you just need to minimize your stress with IVF. So those are 6 of my tips for IVF if you're about to start the process or you're going through it. And, you know, I think just leaving you with what I would tell myself throughout the whole process was just think about it day by day, take it day by day. Don't play that what if game. Be proud of yourself. You're doing everything you can today to reach your goal of having a baby, and feel confident and just know that you're doing everything you can. And that, I think, will help a lot in trying to stay positive, which also will help melt the stress away as much as possible. I know easier said than done, but if you can concentrate on that, then that really, to me, helped a lot. You're going to have ups and downs, but hopefully most of them are up and most of them are positive. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe here. And then I'll also put the other videos I did about IVF here, and probably one here. And then I don't know if I can do a third one, but if I can, I'll do it here. And I will see you guys in my next video, and thanks for watching.